All right, today we're going to talk about the ground monitor. The ground monitor is just the deck gun on top of the engine, and then we're going to go over removing it and how much water we flow. So we've got stack tips. We have 1 3/8, which is going to flow 500 gallons per minute. We've got 1.5 inch, which flows 600 gallons per minute. 1 3/4, which flows 800 gallons per minute, and the 2 inch, which flows 1,000 gallons per minute. Thing to note is when you spin these off, there is a stream straightener insert right there. So that keeps the water from having the Venturi effect where it spins. So we're going to go over removing this. So it's mounted in the base. We've got 2 pins. So you want to pull the pins. Okay, and then pull the other pin. Then you just lift up. Now this deck gun is very heavy, so it is going to be a little bit of a challenge as you hand it down from the top of the engine to someone else receiving it. All right, so everything you need to mount the deck gun to the ground monitor base is in the rear compartment of the driver's side. This is the base that it mounts on, and we also have the rebar that helps us secure it to the ground. All right, so once we've got our base to our desired location, we unfold the legs, and we also have 3 straps which are going to secure the base in place. So Chris is going to unfold the legs. You'll also notice at the bottom of the legs, they have very sharp spikes, so definitely be careful as you unfold these things. And that's to pound into asphalt to help secure it. All right, so the 3 straps that we have, 2 of them, the black ones, are going to secure to the LDH hose that's going to be run in front of the base. So these secure to the LDH hose. And then we have the red webbing strap that we can pull out in a triangle and pound rebar into the ground or into the asphalt. And that also adds another layer of security. All right, so now we're securing the rebar. On these 2 legs, we have holes that the rebar fits through. Go ahead, Jeff. And you'll notice that we've got the rebar at an angle. That's because when we're flowing water, the base is naturally going to want to kick back. Go ahead. And one other thing you're going to want to consider as you're pounding the rebar in, when you put the deck gun on here or the ground monitor on here, you can change direction. And if you have these rebar pounded in further, you're going to have more swing left and the right to change the direction of your flow. One safety measure we have is these rebar caps that goes on top of the rebar. In the event that someone were to fall, you wouldn't be impaled by the rebar. All right, at this point, Chris is ready to mount the ground monitor onto the base. Go ahead, Chris. So you'll see, just like when we took it off of the top of the engine, this fits into here, and then we've got the pins to go through. Okay, so Chris is taking the LDH off the back of the engine. He's going to walk it well past where the base and the ground monitor is mounted. And now he's going to wrap it back around the other way and come back to the ground monitor. All right, so at this point, now that we're connected, Chris has to dress the hose. And what we need here is a 10-foot gap between here and here. And we also need a 10-foot length that's going to run in front of the ground monitor. So Chris needs more hose, so he's going to continue stretching out the hose. the hose. And as you can see, there's a little section right here where the hose is going to lay. The hose is going to run this way, and we need a 10-foot length of hose running in front of the ground monitor that it gets secured to. All right, so now Chris is going to secure the straps to the hose. So he runs that black strap underneath, clips it in. He's going to cinch it a little bit. And then what he can do from here, once we get water going through this hose and it fills up, then we can continue to cinch this down until it's snug. Okay, so the last piece of webbing that's going to be used to secure the ground monitor, Chris is going to make a triangle out of this. And then we're going to pound rebar right into both corners of the triangle. Same idea, slight angle to the rebar. One other option you have if you don't have the space to make a triangle is you can just run this straight. We've got a buckle right here. You can increase the length. The more length you have on this, the more secure it's going to be. All right. So then you could pound rebar and then clip this around the rebar. All right. Two safety considerations to remember. When we have the deck gun, we've got this pin which articulates it up. We never do that with a ground monitor. We always leave it in the lowered position. And there's also this pin functions as a safety when it's at the ground monitor. So if we try to lower it, as you can see, the pin is going to stop. That's the lowest angle that we can flow water. All right, so now that the ground monitor is ready to flow water, there's one last thing. Once he receives water, we can loosen up this lock, and then he can swivel the ground monitor to hit the fire wherever he needs to. All right, Chris is ready to flow water, so he's going to signal or radio the engineer that the ground monitor is ready for water. All right, so when we're pumping to the ground monitor, it's real simple calculations. 80 PSI at the tip because it's a master stream, 25 for the appliance, and then the engineer just has to calculate the friction loss of the 4-inch. And that's how he's going to find the correct pressure to pump to the ground monitor.